Firms are trying to have a quick process in terms of evaluating companies and assessing them and also lending them. And we will speak in a little bit details about it. But I think also I wanted to give you how the fintech sector, not only Manafi or as well the crowdfunding industry, but alhamdulillah, I think what the Vision 2030 through the financial sector or برنامج تطوير القطاع المالي has achieved into the fintech is significant numbers. And I'll shed the light on three important numbers. We've seen the fintech companies reaching 261 companies today, either licensed by CMA or the central bank, achieving, or exceeding the target by 13% of 2025 target. Most importantly, even though we're trying to bring technology here, still this sector brings a lot of hiring and a lot of employment to the sector. So the sector has reached to around 11,000 jobs, exceeding also the target by 76%. And you can see a lot of venture capital today are putting money into the fintech industry because they see a huge value and how it brings to the market, either from the retail or to the lending or whatever is provided. So we've seen huge investment that is exceeded 2.6 billion, achieving more than 200% of the target by 2025. And I think this will put the target for 2030 maybe to be revisited, and as this number are already, mashallah, promising. But looking into the crowdfunding is to zoom in, or the digital lending platforms, there are more than 15 companies that are licensed by the central bank. Today, the total funding volume has grown more than 150% from 23 to 24. And to quantify this in a number, it has reached to 7 billion. But I think what we're going to see in 2025, at least, because all these platforms also display their numbers on a quarterly basis, and you can see them in their website, including Manafi as well. I think this number by end of 2025 will reach to around 14 billion, which is around 100% double or growth in terms of lending. Lastly, also the number of loans that are been given to the market has grown by 184%. So alhamdulillah, this is, I think, shows how today the lending platforms are disrupting the market, providing something that to fill the gap that is needed, and how we complement a lot of the entities that has been here. I think we are on a premises today when an SIDF who has been leading this for over 50 years, and I think it's good to complement what has been established in the kingdom with the digital solution. I think to sum it up, and I think we have a great speaker today who will speak about the experience and the digital experience. But in a very high level, I think what we try to provide as a digital lending platform or any fintech solution, usually we try to bring fast and flexible option, either if you are using it for payments or using it as a corporate that you would like to get lending. I think for us, at least in the lending industry, we are trying to bring innovative financing product solution, and I will speak a little bit today about the supply chain financing that we have also in partnership with SIDF, and we've been delivering it to two of the largest buyers in the kingdom, which is Saudi Aramco and Saudi Electricity Company. And lastly is the seamless digital process that goes into either the mobile apps that we have or the platforms itself. Now, if you allow me, I'll also introduce Manafi, just for those who don't know who's Manafi and what we do exactly. So Manafi is a digital lending platform that's licensed by the central bank as well as the Capital Market Authority. Manafi has managed to finance over 3 billion in terms of lending across its products. Manafi as well backed up by its two largest VCs in the market, STV and Wa'id Aramco. And I think what we are mostly proud of in Manafi is our technology, because all our technology is built in-house. So we claim to be a tech before financing company. So we are 60-70% of our employees are into the technology. And this is where our investment today is into the tech, because this is where we're trying to bring different edge into the market. Lastly, and I will have to be very thankful and fortunate to the ecosystem we live in. Alhamdulillah, I think the digital transformation the kingdom lives in is significant. And I'll be very honest that if we did not have this digital infrastructure in the kingdom, we would not be able to provide what we're providing today. And this goes into what the government and the private sector brings from data providers or APIs that is open to us. Today we can complete our KYC onboarding process to everyone through seamless process, either through our integration with Ministry of Commerce, Ministry of Interior, through their services, NAFAD, or if it's even into the collaterals, which is very important to in the lending is NAFAD, and so many examples that if I speak about it takes all day long. But one example that is I always like to bring is اعتماد. For example, we are integrated with اعتماد platform, منصة اعتماد, to validate any company that would like to have financing for their government invoices. So anyone that comes to our platform, there is no need for them to upload their government invoice, etc., because if they just put their contract number, we can call the API of اعتماد and check the validity of that invoice and all of that. So these are just some examples of that which we are trying to bring into our solutions. In a very high level, today we have more than 180,000 users using our platform. This is mainly on the retail investors we have in our platform. We have more than 18,000 entities that are registered in our platform from SMEs and corporates. Integrations, as I mentioned, as an API point, we have actually more than 100, but as an integration point is around 60. We mentioned the number about 3 billion in terms of financing. We have managed to have more than 10 million of digital transactions, and our average financing size, given that we are focusing on the SMEs, is around 2.8 million. In a very simple context, what we try to bring is 4 elements that at least in the digital lending piece. And these are the 4 components that we try to invest heavily in our technology. Is the KYC process. How can I onboard the company or onboard an individual or owner of that company or authorized manager who is authorized to sign such document through a digital KYC? And I think this is, again, a very important aspect into the digital lending solution, and also in the banking or in the financing sector. So I think the KYC is a critical piece. Funding, how to validate the funding itself. And I think this is a challenge to the lending market today, especially with SMEs, how you validate the how legit is their funding request or financing request. This is where we complement by either, for example, in our supply chain financing solution, where we get the invoice information from the source of truth, or, for example, اعتماد, the example I gave. Of course, all our products are Sharia compliance, and we provide it through digital murabaha process in which all the transaction can be done through a Sharia compliant process as well digitalized in a way where the borrower can complete their murabaha process and purchase the commodity and have a certificate of that actual commodity they are selling and have it as a deferred date on the commodity itself. Lastly is as a loan disbursement and collection origination system. And also we recently introduced our mobile app because we found out that the younger generation or the new business owners, no one would like to log in through their platform. So it's good also to have it in a mobile app. This is usually for the decision maker as well. If they would like to see quick information or sign a very important document or anything, also digitally through the mobile app. Our products, we are focusing mainly on our working capital product or short-term financing products. Today, we have the invoice financing. We have the line of credit for working capital. This is not for SMEs, mainly for the large corporates that we work with. We have as well recently introduced our real estate. We have a partnership with Mudad as well, in which we provide our embedded lending solution for the payroll. Basically, any entity that would like to pay their payroll, when they log into Mudad, they can see a financing option for their payroll from Mudad platform. And this is the concept we're trying to bring into the market in the digital lending, is to meet the customer where he is and where he needs the money, basically. We have the PO financing and LG. And the supply chain financing is our most recent product, which is also we're trying to bring in partnership with SIDF as one of our core funder into the program. And we have already signed with 2 big buyers in the market, which is the Saudi Aramco, as well as the Saudi Electricity Company. That was also during the FII a couple of weeks ago. And In a very high level, what we've tried to bring here is a very competitive pricing to the SMEs, fixed management fees, as well as quick turnaround in terms of even, again, accepting or rejecting. Because if you go to any entity that's trying to get lending, they say, I spent 1 month or 2 months and the result wasn't fulfilling or wasn't good for them. And I think we spoke about the digital piece and how it's important. And I think given that we are in I would call the pillar of industrial sector lending, I thought it's good also to shed the light on how today the industrial sector is very important, and enabling it for financing is very important. And unfortunately, it's underserved by the financing companies, and overall the market still needs support, or the industrial sector still needs support, at least in the working capital piece. And these are the numbers that we are also seeing from Sam, and I'll speak in a little bit about. But it's good also to shed the light on how the industrial sector is very important to the kingdom economy, and I think whatever is within the vision shows how the importance of that sector. But it's good to show you where the financing companies today have provided to the industrial sector, and where are the missing piece. And I see the first number here is the credit granted from financing companies. This is excluding the banks, is only 2 billion, which is still, it's an increase. However, it's still very low. Today, the banking provides around 196 billion. So it's only 2 billion of it coming from financing companies, including digital lending platform. And this is, at least as per the latest number that are published by the central bank. So I think this is the piece. If we see it is around 1.5% coming from non-banking financial institute to contribute to the industrial sector, and hopefully by the examples we gave, either in the supply chain financing or other, we can disrupt this and provide it to the market. Number of factories, I'm sure this is also good to show how there is also a growth in that, and that means if there is a growth in the industrial sector, and also we're seeing small examples of the SMEs that are trying to get into this sector, but without having a lending solution to them, will always be bottleneck, and this, I think this is the nature of the industrial sector. The ROI for it, or the investment as a capex in the beginning, requires a lot of things, and also the operation cycle, it requires significant working capital support. Lastly is the private sector investment, and I think this shows the commitment into the sector and how it's very important. For us, again, in a very high level, what we're trying to bring to the market today, we have, again, this number also as end of 2024, but we are around 900 million of our financing has been given to the industrial sector, different companies, and we have examples to speak about. This is again excluding the supply chain financing, which is we're hoping that will, skyrocket our contribution to that. The companies that we have financed are around 80 companies that are within the industrial sector, with more than 1,600 loan or transaction, because also this can be in tranches as well. What we're trying to bring here is to lower the financing cost and hopefully find or improving liquidity by enhancing the supply chain to those entities. Faster collection of receivable for the invoice financing, and I think this is very important as well to the nature of the sector. The overall operational stability support by either our PO financing or our payroll financing. And lastly is the working capital that allowing for daily, expense management, etc. I think this is going to be my last segment of the presentation today. Alhamdulillah, Manafi' was one of the first entities to be granted by or permitted by the central bank to operate the supply chain financing in its new nature, and I'll speak about it in a little bit. This is the signing we had last year FII with our partners and Alhamdulillah, Aramco's program is already up and running, and we also last week we signed for SAC as well. Both of these were with our partner SIDF as a key enabler for the program, as well as to the industrial sector. But what is the supply chain financing in a nutshell? Because I think I've been speaking a lot about it, but not explaining it. Today, this platform sits in the middle between multiple parties involved. We have the buyer, which can be, for example, Saudi Aramco or SEC or whoever, inshallah, in the future, where we get any invoice that is approved by the buyer into the platform. So if you're a supplier to Aramco or SEC, when you go to that platform, if you have an invoice that is approved, but it would be paid in 30 or 60 days, and you would like to get the money instantly in the same day rather than waiting for 60 days for whatever need you would like, we are connected with our funders, SIDF as an example, and the supplier can click on that and complete the murabaha process and get the money in the same day at a discounted price, of course. But what's, I think, very important here for anyone who's into the credit industry here is that we are extending Aramco's or SEC credit worthiness to the supplier, because when the supplier gets his money as an early payment, on the maturity date of the actual invoice, we receive the money directly from the buyer, which is Aramco or SEC in this example. And this is just to show you how we're capitalizing again on the digital piece, how we are trying to link that in one way or another, where we receive the money instantly from the buyer, and we are relying as a source of truth on their ERP system. And I think this is an example of a unique product offering into the market. Lastly, these are some of the names that we work with today, either in the supply chain or outside of the supply chain. And we thought that it's also good to bring up some industrial sectors that we work with, and we're also trying to expand that into it. I think that brings me to my end of my presentation. This is Manafeh. I don't need to promote for it, but this is again because also we have an investor app as well as for our borrower apps. Thank you. That's my presentation, and thanks again for SIDF for allowing me to have a chance to speak today. Thanks.
We would like to give a chance for questions.
Please.
If any of the audience have any questions. Yes, Mr. Riyad.
Thank you so much for a nice presentation.
Thank you.
How do you ensure collaterals from the clients?
Sorry?
What are your collaterals to ensure that the money is paid back by the clients?
Good. I think it's a very good question, and that would be different based on the nature of the product. So if I speak about the direct lending, which is either invoice financing, payroll, etc., this is going to be based on the credit assessment that is done on the borrower. But of course, there is usually at least promissory notes, senads or direct senads on the owners. And in different cases, we take assignment of proceed, if it's an invoice financing, for example, or in extreme cases as well, we go into getting, real estate collateral or mortgages, for them. So it depends, but these are the pieces we try to bring. On the supply chain financing, it's a different game because we are, the supplier, when he gets his payment, our collateral is his assignment of proceed, and we are getting a commitment from the buyer to pay it on the actual date. So this is the difference. And again, this all has, this is what, for example, we do not prefer to go to having a real estate as a collateral, because it's a longer process. It's not digitized, and we don't want to get into any operational pieces. So hope that answers your question.
Thank you. And one more suggestion here,
yes, please.
Supply chain financing for Aramco and SEC. From my experience, because pharmaceutical companies have a big challenge, they have payments from NUPCO, which takes long time. So you can add pharmaceutical companies to this program.
Well, inshallah, we're trying to bring it to the market to as much as possible to the buyers. We're trying to offer it, and inshallah, one of it, if things goes as we hope, NUPCO or even beyond them, inshallah.
Thank you. It's a good initiative.
But we hear you. We understand how it's difficult for a lot of the healthcare sectors today. But inshallah, we can complement to whatever the market is offering as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Abdul.
يعطيكم العافية.
Thank you, Mr. Abdurrahman, for the great presentation. And now we will shift from lending to payments, one of the most feasible ways that fintech touch our daily lives. So our next company is Barg. Barg is at the forefront of Saudi Arabia's digital payments evolution. So their work reflects how technology has taken us from standing in bank queues to making instant and borderless transaction. So Bark's Limitless app will walk us through how payments innovation supports the kingdom's broader digital economy goals. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Naif Al-Maqbel, Head of Customer Experience at Bark.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Thank you all for being here, and special thanks to the IDF for hosting us and giving us the opportunity to meet you all. Today I would like to talk about how fintech in Saudi has evolved and how we experienced it firsthand building Bark. I will talk a lot about Bark today and give examples from Bark. It's not a promotional talk, but it's a real example from the market as we were building Bark. Sorry. Can I have the presentation? Oh, okay. So when we started building Bark, we asked ourselves this question: how can we elevate the everyday financial engagement? We focused on this question, and we built everything around it. And it worked, and as you will see in the coming slides, we did well in Bark achievements and numbers. We focused on the engagement, and this is the secret behind Bark's success. Of course, along with the team, we have a very talented team who's led by a visionary, our CEO, Ahmed Al-Anizi, who has been shaping in this market for a long time. And it was a joy building it with him. Before talking about numbers, I want to start with a great fact that Saudi is one of the fastest growing fintech markets in the world. And sorry, when I go back, when you're speaking about numbers, starting with Vision 2030 numbers and objectives, we have now 261 licensed fintech company. It's halfway towards the target's 525 fintech company. We have created 11 jobs, and the target is 18,000 jobs. For the last number, we did well. We are 5 years ahead, as we have now 79% digital payments, non-cash transactions, and the target is 70 to 80%. And to give you an example how fast Saudi fintech is growing, I have this comparison between 23 and 24. We have 20% increase in international transfers, and then buy now, pay later, we have 240, which is almost triple the numbers, more than triple the numbers. Same thing for Sadad and for merchant accepting fintech payments. Moving from the ecosystem numbers to Bark numbers, we reached our first million customer in 21 days, and it was a great achievement for us. We issued 600,000 cards and moved 500 million Saudi riyal. And in our first year, we got 7 million customers. We issued 6.5 cards. We moved 73 billion and over 500 million transactions. These numbers wouldn't be possible, as Abdurrahman mentioned, if we didn't have a solid foundation, like we have the strongest financial infrastructure in the region. Now we have regulations, which is important for any fintech, and we have sandbox where startups can test in a safe and legal environment. We all remember, we don't remember, maybe you guys know, like when you used to go to the bank and pay your bills, like electric bills and phone bills. Maybe we remember the ATM when we wait for someone who is entering the bill number forever. We come a long way. Now you can transfer to over 200 countries in a palm of your hand, and the money will arrive instantly. When I say instantly, I mean at the right time. Now you can transfer from wallet to wallet, and it will arrive at the same time. Banking used to be serious, and we are always serious when it comes to money. I remember, like, I don't know, this applies on me, I don't know about you, but when we use, like in every day, our laptops, our phones in English, but when we go to the ATM, you switch to Arabic. So there is no margin for mistakes. Berg made it fun. We introduced games, rewards, challenges, and this is the engagement I'm talking about. This is creative engagement instead of like just engaging users with X post or asking questions about your favorite club or all these engagements. At Park, like for example, instead of fixed cashback, we introduced spin the wheel, where you have like the chance to win more than 100% if we give you a chance to choose between the two. I'm sure you would choose the right one. Also, the one engagement we did last Eid is instead of like giving cash idea or sending money, we made it a fun engagement game where you just create, like put the amount you want and share it with your friends. And make them play hunting the amount, and sometimes if it depends on your skills on aiming, like you can get more than the others. Gaming, like we introduced a lot of games through Berg. Basically how it works, like you will get 2 attempts when you first start, and then you play. And if you want more attempts, you invite your friends and you will get more attempts on that. Also, it's not just playing. You play and win cash, and it will be added to your wallet instantly. Also, another engagement we did is live streaming. I don't know if you have ever seen a banking app do live streaming. We did this at work. Last Ramadan, we did this where we ask our users questions and give them the chance to win. We have leaderboard for that. Now, kids, they have account. I remember, like, when I was a kid, I take my father's expired credit card and brag about it, put it in my front pocket. Now, kids, they have their own account, and they can have their own cards, and they can learn about finance and money in an early age. Gatta, this is an example of the engagements and being with people and their happy moments. I'm not talking about regular Gatta. This is a product we just released recently. Group Gatta. It's good for when you travel with friends, or for work lunch, or for قطة الاستراحة. Basically how it works, you create the group and everyone can add expenses. Let's say, for example, you are traveling with your friends. You paid for the hotel and your friend paid for the flights, let's say. They can add the expenses and you can settle anytime. This is an example of engagement. It's beyond financial. It's like you are with the people in their happy moments. This is just a few on the controls you have. You can set the budget limit. You can add expenses from your transactions or Parg, or add it manually. You can set limits for the people with you. If you don't trust anyone, you can lower the limit. It's clear we don't trust Abdulaziz here. We put the limit 500. So you have full visibility here, eating out. For example, you see what's the top category you are paying, and every member in the group can have full visibility. And as I said, you can settle anytime. The importance of user experience. So allow me here to speak more than I should because this is my field. So I just want to highlight a few things here. The most important is to be simple and consistent. At Park, if you see Park from day one till now, we didn't change a lot. The most important, founders tend to let's launch and then fix things later. But don't skip the user experience because it's very important, because first impression is very important. If user comes and it's hard to navigate, or the UI is not up to his taste, he will not come again. The other thing, if you see, it's clear. We don't have a lot of messages. Like now, some apps, when you go inside, you will see banners. You will see a lot. Maybe you see in one view, you'll see 15 messages at your face. It's overwhelming. And the last thing about user experience, and I will give you example about small touches you can add to create a perfect user experience. The last thing is don't add features you don't need. Like I see some apps, they add, for example, the weather, because just it looks good, or maybe prayer times. One example we added to work is now users, they get cashback, they get a lot of benefits from Park, but they don't know that. We introduced this the total of how much you saved with Park, like from cashback or transfer fees or gaming, and also cards transactions fees. This is will keep the user using Park. And one of the other examples, now let's say you are in the middle of transfer, and you don't have enough fund in your account to introduce this, where you don't go out of the flow, where you can top up right away, and we give you exactly the amount you need to add to complete this transaction. Adding money, small touch like remembering the payment method you always use. This is very valuable for the user. And the transaction details, for example, as you see here, it's very clear where you can find PDF if you want it as an image to share it via WhatsApp or any other tools. Also, when you click help in Park, it doesn't take you to the general support. It will take you specifically, it will take the information of this transaction, and you can raise a ticket right away for it. As I said, engagement is the secret behind Park's success. Of course, along with other things, like we have amazing marketing team. We have Abdulaziz Dani here, our GM of marketing in Hissa. They did an amazing job, and also be creative. Like the old ways of engaging customers will not work anymore, because people are overwhelmed with messages. At the end, just I want to say about Saudi and about Park as well. We are not just catching up, we are leading. Thank you. That's all from me.
If any of the audience have any questions.
السلام عليكم، يعطيك العافية.
الله يعافيك.
حبيبي، بس أنتم رائعين جدا أمانة، ولكن في ملاحظتين. الملاحظة الأولى اللي هو الكشف الحساب. أنا كعميل يعني عانيت شهور ايميل
It's coming soon. You
إن
can
شاء
just
الله.
you can just take it right away
الشغلة
from the app. إن
الثانية
شاء
اللي
الله.
هي البالانس. يعني أنا لما يكون حسابي مبلغ وأسوي عملية، يفترض يطلع لي كم البالانس الباقي. يعني أنت تنزل لي المعاملات فقط، يبغى لي أنا أروح أسوي له إيش كالكوليشن
لا
عشان.
لا أكيد، حتى هذه كأنك معنا، هذه موجودة إن شاء الله.
يعطيك العافية.
الله يعافيك.
Is there any other question?
السلام عليكم.
السلام ورحمة.
يعطيكم الف عافيه. انا بس كان عندي استفسار بخصوص هل ان شاء الله مستقبلا بتسووا بطايق زي مثلا الفرسان، بطايق من هذا النوع اللي فيها مزايا اضافيه غير الكاش باك؟
أكيد إحنا ما راح نوقف. I don't have clear answer for this. بس ما راح نوقف. توقع كل شيء من برق إن شاء الله.
يعطيك العافيه.
الله يعافيك.
سؤال يعطيك العافية طبعا.
الله يعافيك.
سؤال بسيط. How do you make money out of payments? يعني when you facilitate payments.
Don't
how do you
worry
make
about
money
us.
That's why just to understand يعني what's happening.
We are surviving till now.
السلام عليكم.
السلام.
بس امتدادا السؤال ابو خالد، انا الحقيقه استخدمت برق فقط مره واحده وكان استخدام جيد، اللي هو الانترناشنال التحويلات الدوليه. فلاحظت انه برق ما ياخذ اي فيز عليه.
صحيح.
فودي اعرف وش البزنس موديل اللي يعني مقارنه بنظرائكم المنافسين في هالصناعه، وش البزنس موديل اللي تستخدمه رغم يعني ما تاخذ فيه مقارنه بالمنافسين؟
أنا دائما أقول لا تخافون علينا يعني. we know how to get our money. بس عندنا other products وحتى still إحنا ندخل، يعني ما إحنا بخسرانين حتى لو بدون فيز. بس بدل ما ناخذ على ما قال أكيد هو ماركتينج بادجت كل الأشياء هذه، بس إنه إحنا ربحانين يعني في كل الأحوال.
Are there any more questions? طيب تمام. شكرا نايف. Thank you.
يعطيكم العافية. شكرا.
Thank you, Naif, for that inspiring presentation and for showing how Berg is bringing convenience and confidence to everyday finance. Now, let's go to another part of fintech growth, which is investment. Many people want to invest but are held back by complexity and fear. Awide bridges that gap through human-centered design, trust, and technology. Please join me to welcome Mr. Youssef Al-Barrag, Head of User Experience at Awide, to present from confusion to confidence how Awide simplifies investing for everyone.
السلام عليكم. صباح الخير. سعيد جدا بدعوة صندوق الصناعي السعودي. And today inshallah I will be presenting a bit of a storytelling, a bit of a journey, a bit of a glimpse how fintechs usually work. And one of the objectives that was shared with me in the email was the people. So I want to start with the slides. From confusion to confidence, how did Awad simplify trading to everyone? I want to start really fast talking about myself. I'm Youssef Barrag. I have been in tech for 15 years covering tech, journalism, writing. Then I was at STC in the first revolution of social media in 2011. After that, I joined Aramco to help in the energy tech global. Then tried to put يعني, my toes in startup field with Darahim, just to get an idea of how mature is the startup environment today at Saudi. After that, I started with Awaid, and it all started with a call from the founder of Awaid, Mit'ab al-Ginni, and I remember calling him and just to catch up. And the conversation was something like this: where are you now? I said I was in Aramco, and he was like laughing at me. What do you actually do in oil and gas? So the goal was clear, to come and build with him a trading app even my mom can use. And I really mistake, and I said, why not? So the problem was very clear. Most of the trading apps that we have today, very complicated. They were built for traders, not normal people, not teachers, not students, not moms, not old people. So the scene was something like this, which is very intimidating. This is one of the white label providers in Saudi. Many of the capitals and many of the local banks are using it. And basically you just slap your logo on one of these apps and you try to learn and buy and sell and invest. It's very crowded. It's hard to use, very intimidating. And the goal was to try to revamp this. Awad, when it started and when I joined, was just focused start in funds. So the typical investment funds, you get your money in, you choose a real estate or an investment fund, and you meet again with your fund 12 months or 24 months later. We started working with sketches on how to revamp it and how to get this fund up to accommodate stocks, funds, murabahas, IBOs, and one by one started building together. And alhamdulillah, within almost under a year, we were able to reach Awaid today, which is a more simple. We started with a rebranding, then a design system, and we revamped the entire app to be something simpler that everyone can actually use. Today at Awaid, we have stocks, we have funds, we have deposits or murabaha, we have IBOs, and many other products, inshallah, to come. It's very important here, since one of the keywords of this keynote is a workshop, is to try to explain how all of this was possible. And how does it compare to the traditional financial institutions. Usually financial institutions in Saudi do the white label method, which is go to a big provider and not create their custom app. And that creates friction. Friction is when you download an app and you try to get in, you try to register, but you will have to go outside the app to copy the IBAN, or go outside the app to copy your ID, and all of these processes. Frictionless UX in action is you don't need to copy your IBAN. You can just deposit money using your Apple Pay with the Apple ecosystem. It's things like opening your account directly using the government APIs like Abshir from providers. So the user can get inside the app frictionlessly. Sharia compliant hard-coded filters. Usually the traditional capitals, they wait until December from the Sharia Lajna Sharia to share an Excel sheet. Then you go see نسبة التطهير and if it's Sharia compliant or not. We actually went to our Lajna Sharia and we hard-coded quarter by quarter that you can see the change if your stock went from Sharia compliant to non-Sharia compliant. So these are the things that create the difference between a traditional financial institution and the fintech led by techies in Saudi. Of course, you don't need to use 3 different apps, one for funds, one for stocks, and a web portal to deposit your cash. It's all under one wallet. And most importantly, our key and main advantage at Awaid, 0 commission. So you buy, sell in Saudi and US market with 0 commission. Because we think it's fair. People are being intimidated enough, even while using complex apps. So you can only imagine when there is a commission involved. So yes, this is the new standards. Fintech apps and fintech startups and fintech companies, they raise the bar. I don't think that fintechs in Saudi today are competing per se as much as hiring and raising the bar, especially in the tech side. We build from 0. Usually it is a finance guru and a Saudi tech bro getting together and trying to create something that is easy, simple, and everyone can understand. So we build from 0, no templates. We obsess over designs, as Naif Al-Miqbal from Barg just showed us. Obsessing over design and clarity is crucial. At fintechs, we put humans before transactions. So at banks, usually in a high level, transactions tend to be more important than the users, given the grand scale of things in their systems. In fintechs, usually we hire full-time talents, Saudi talents, and we run away from outsourcing tech. And usually, a traditional businessman might get an idea to start something in fintech, and he goes and outsource his implementation and coding to a different agency or outside Saudi and what have you. But the problem with this method that it will not give you the journey, it will not give you the experience, it will not take you through the real local domestic experience while having Saudi talents with you, leading with you the coding and designing and everything. So it is very crucial to always hire the talents full-time and shy away from outsourcing tech. I believe this is how fintechs step up the game versus traditional banks and capitals. The impact in numbers, and just to prove that fintechs, even though they start small, they can make milestones. Alhamdulillah, after relaunching Awaid, our new app, having all the products under an operating system of investment, we were able to be awarded twice by Apple in the top 10 finance category. And our lovely business team could also awarded by having very creative and very successful traditional funds in our app. And these are some of the numbers that I would love to share to see the effect directly with the users. We were able to save $250 million SAR, Saudi Riyal, in our users' pockets. They did not lose this amount. They put it in their pockets, even while buying and selling stocks in US and Saudi market. Many success stories with our users today trading. 2.6 billion Saudi Riyal was distributed to our investors in returns and dividends. And most importantly, without losing a dime in their buying and selling. We were able to reach 3,000, almost 3,000 net change percentage in a single quarter after launching the new Awaid. As per Arqam News website, we were the fastest growing asset manager in Saudi. Walillah alhamd, this shows that empathy and design can guarantee you trust by the casual users in Saudi. Before I conclude, I have 3 quotes that I want to highlight here. Today, artificial intelligence can do many things, but I think AI can generate functioning code cheaper and faster than ever. But not empathy, because empathy is by humans to humans, and the design is a matter of taste, a matter of understanding the users more than AI trying to understand the human. So here it's important to understand that putting the designers now in lead is more important than ever, because the codes and the functions, no matter how complicated it is, it will be coded by a developer trying to construct the AI agent to generate these functions. Your edge isn't digital transformation anymore. It's how good your user experience design is. 10 years ago, it was about tech enablement. It's about having the form that you go in the bank and having it, instead of writing with paper, you have it in a form. However, this creates friction. So this is not, this is the old methodology, is to try to digitally transfer anything to tech. But I believe that it is not the case anymore. It's about how good your user experience design is. So focusing in design is really important here. I believe that the era of ugly and barely working apps is over, because people don't figure things out anymore. They will just leave. Good UX is the product today, and it shows when we see all of the rock star apps of Saudi as many examples. We always see that the normal users tend to use the apps that are easier to use, that are tastefully designed, that are frictionless. So the idea of having the app in not so good of a shape is well behind us. If your UX is not good, people will just leave to something else. Even if it's chargeable, people will favor the convenience over anything. So years ago, UX was a second-class matter, but today I think it is the product, especially in fintech field, when people are trying to deal with their actual hard-earned money. It all began with a call. Let's build an app, trading app that my mom can use. And alhamdulillah, today almost 1 million users began their first investment journey on Awaid in Saudi, by Saudi, to Saudis. And basically this is how we went from confusion to confidence, and that was the goal. And alhamdulillah, now it's the reality with 1 million users, and inshallah millions to come. Thank you for being here, and thank you for listening, everyone.
The audience, if they have any questions. تفضل.
يعطيك العافية.
يعافيك.
How do you make money?
Trading at Awaad, we feel that zero commission is very important. It is the differentiator compared to the rest of the market. As for how do we make money, at Awaad we actually make money, and especially in the last quarter we broke even, and we are making money even with the zero commission. Most of the monetization that we make today is usually through B2B in fund investments. One of our products, which is not like the stock markets. Stock markets is zero commission. Funds are usually being monetized by B2B business deals with real estate developers, with VCs trying to open funds at Awaid, and it's breaking even for us at this level with the funds. So we take money from the funds and we try to improve the app to make people trade with zero commission. Yes, almost 1 million, alhamdulillah, yes.
You cater for all this, yani you have assets that are serving this 1 million.
Yes,
So this B2C, yani is not making money or?
it's two things here. With the trading, with the stock markets, US market and Saudi market, we don't target the pro traders or the prosumer. We target people who never traded. This is our target audience. And you would be surprised of how many يعني Saudis who never traded. The market for people who trades is very low, especially in Saudi. So we are after those who never opened a wallet. That's number one. Number two, as for the monetization with the funds, we cater to the long-term investors who are mid to pro investors who can hold long-term investments, and they trust us because of the first 2 years when we started, it was just funds. So we have our name with them, and they are investing in most of the opportunities in funds. As for long-term, Awad forever will be zero commission in trading stocks, بإذن الله. Yes.
On the lighter note, you said like it's made by Saudi for Saudis. So it's also for hopefully.
No. It is for Saudis, and any citizen and any resident in Saudi is considered a Saudi.
Thank you so much.
By the way, any resident in Saudi can open a wallet today at Awad, as long as he got Abshir present in the system. He can absolutely trade.
I will be your next customer. But my question is like, say, as of today,
Yes.
I have a trading platform with a particular bank.
Okay.
So when I transfer my funds, within second, money is in my trading account. I can buy the stock. So what about Awad? So if I transfer funds from my account, how much time it will take?
The reason that it is transferred instantly, because you probably are using Bank X and Capital X app, so it's under one ecosystem. Awad is just a capital, not a bank. So in the traditional transfer, it's usually given to يعني, if it's under 20,000, it will be instant. If it's above 20,000, as per SAMA and CMA rules, it will take 1 business day to arrive. But that's the point. We started with Apple Pay, so you can just instantly deposit any amount of money that you would like to invest with.
Now I'm fed up with the design. As you said, you have a very nice design. So hopefully you will see me as your client, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Thank you. Thank you, Yusuf.
Thank you.
إذا تسمح لي بسؤالين الله يعافيك. أنه حابب أنه بعرف يعني وش غالبية الاستثمارات اللي تشتغلوا فيها يعني في سوق الأسهم في السندات. وبالنسبة للسؤال الثاني طيب السوق الأمريكية اللي فاتحينها أنه زي ما نعرف أنه غالبية الشركات اللي هناك أنه بتمارس يعني أن النشاطات حقتها أنه غير مجازة شرعا من القروض الربوية وغيرها والمنتجات الغير جائزة. فهل عندكم إنه نوع يعني إنه بتفلتروا فيه إيش الشركات الأمريكية اللي كذا واللي كذا؟
Yes, the first part of your question, we don't manage your money, and we give you the driving wheel to drive. So in the stock markets, you are the user, you buy and sell. So when it comes to stocks, you're the manager and you are confident enough, inshallah, with Awad, to buy and sell by yourself. As for Sharia, compliant matter of things, we took it to the next level. We started with having two Sharia companies, دار المراجعة الشرعية as our internal لجنة الشرعية, and we went to a company called Rating Intelligence, which is led by Sheikh Abdullah Al-Ghari, who's a big nerd in Islamic finance and everything, and he's one of the biggest names in this field. We went to them, And they told us that we will, quarter by quarter, tell you if this Sharia stock is halal or haram. Not by the end of the year, not twice, 4 times reviews under 1 year. So quarter by quarter, inside Awaid, you will have an icon that will tell you, is it Sharia compliant or is it not? Including the purification percentage, نسبة التطهير. نسبة التطهير can differ from quarter to quarter, depending on the financial reports from each company. So when it comes to this, alhamdulillah, we were able to work with them, our dev team, with their dev team. They didn't have something like this per se, but we built it with them as for the first time with Awaid. And we placed a toggle inside the app. You just click a toggle, you just make it on, and it will filter across the entire app. Saudi market and US market. Whenever you go, even if you searched, even if you did anything, you will never buy a haram or a non-compliant stock by mistake, as long as you have this toggle enabled. It took us around 5 months to build this technology, but alhamdulillah, it gave us trust by our users.
يعطيكم العافية.
عافيك.
سؤالي أنت ذكرت اللي هو السوق السعودي والسوق الأمريكي.
صحيح.
هل في أسواق أخرى متوفرة الآن أو في يعني طموح عندكم أنكم تضيفون باقي الأسواق العالمية؟ شكرا.
إن شاء الله إن شاء الله مع الوقت راح نضمن أسواق أكثر ومنتجات أكثر بإذن الله. إحنا هدفنا أن أي منتج موجود في السوق اليوم هو موجود، بس الفكرة مو بوجود، الفكرة كيف إنك تقدمه بشكل بسيط. نعم، فبإذن الله بالمستقبل بإذن الله. Yes. Yes, you can shift it inshallah. It should be easy with our team. Yes, we are licensed under يعني هيئة السوق المالية, Capital Market Authority, and you can switch your wallet with us and يعني save some of the $250 million Saudi riyal.
And you offer also mutual funds which are linked to the equity.
We offer ETFs. And يعني ETFs are among the most popular tradable funds that we have, and among the traditional funds, which is investment funds and real estate funds.
يعطيك العافية يا رب. عندي استفسار بس بخصوص أنواع المحافظ. هل عندكم أنواع محافظ عالية المخاطر، منخفضة المخاطر إلى آخره؟
هذه واحدة من التحديات اللي يعني عندنا، أن إحنا ما ندير الأموال ولا عندنا يعني ولا عندنا محافظ مختلفة المخاطر. المحفظة محفظة. الدولار ثابت 3.75 هلا ريال. You deposit the money and we tell you some of the stocks are high risk and some of the funds are low risk, but we do not have wallets with risk types because we do not manage the money, you manage it.
اوكي ممتاز.
Yes.
تمام. استفسار ثاني برضو،
Yes.
هل عندكم توقعات كم ممكن يتحول الانفستمنت خلال مدى 5 سنوات 3 سنوات الى اخره؟
It depends on how good you are in reading Trump speeches and having العربية live 24/7 on the TV.
اوكي تمام. اوكي يعطيك العافية.
يعطيكم العافية.
شكرا شكرا.
ها؟
Thank you, Mr. Youssef, for showing how Awaid is making investing simpler and more accessible. To wrap up today's workshop, we will explore what next for payments, where transactions are not just digital but also frictionless. Our final speaker, Mr. Ibrahim Dlegan, founder and CEO of Stream and ex-SIDF colleague, will share how Stream is building a future where bills and payment happen seamlessly anytime, anywhere. Please join me to welcome Mr. Ibrahim.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me? طيب أول شيء السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. As he just mentioned, I am ex-SIDF, so very, very excited to be back. I was also part of the MSD department. Glad to see a lot of my colleagues here and organizing such a great event. My manager was Adil Sharif. I think he still hates me, so I'm glad he's not here. Today, first of all, privileged to be here with you guys. When they reached out and they told me to come and tell the story of Stream to SIDF, I was very happy, first of all, to come back to SIDF, and second of all, to tell the story of Stream. That's my picture. So I'll basically give a background story of why we think there's still friction in the payment market in Saudi Arabia, and then the story of Stream, why we exist, what is the problem we're trying to solve, and what we think the future is going to look like. And then, of course, we can do definitely questions at the end. Disclaimer, I do speak fast sometimes, so Riyadh, you can just raise your hand if I'm doing that. So I think the first thing to, there seems to be some issues with the slides, but it's okay. So the first thing is that today, most of you are going to ask me, wait, payments are not that frictional. Hello, Khalid. Most of the payments are not frictional. Don't have that much friction in the market. And as you can see from the statistics, this is very old. 70% are pretty much digital. So almost everything right now is Apple Pay. I'm sure none of you hold cash. Some of you don't even hold cards, or most of people don't hold cards. It's just Apple Pay. So, Brahim, where's the friction? This is the same statistic that we're breaking down. Of course, I think the percentage is a bit more in Saudi Arabia today. What we're focusing on, or where we think there's a lot of friction, is in recurring payments. So, whereas almost 80% of payments are considered digital according to SAMA, only 7% are reported to be recurring. So that means automated. Basically a payment like Netflix, if you guys are obviously familiar. So this is obviously wrong, we think. The simple reason is if you look at it from first principles, me as an individual, or even if you look at household spending, the biggest spending item is first real estate, rent, then schools, or education, then bills and utilities, and then things like gyms and other use cases, which are all recurring. So if the majority of spending for an individual is recurring, why is the statistic this way? We believe it's because there's still a lot of friction when it comes to recurring payments. And I'm going to tell you a lot of examples right now, and then hopefully I can show you some solutions. But this is the kind of premise behind why Stream exists. There is an extreme amount of friction for no reason that we want to remove. Here's an example. Recurring payments, I talked about schools. يعني إلى اليوم في المملكة العربية السعودية we have all of these fantastic apps that I'm very happy to be among, as we're very small considered their scale. But why is it that you have to reach out to pay your nursery fee? Or for example, a school, and you and a school have a fight about when's the next payment coming, and so on. It's the same for a lot of different things. The idea is to remove this completely. It should be like Netflix. Today, Netflix doesn't call you and say, please make the payment. ولو سمحت أضف المستفيد, and then make the transfer, and then send me the receipt. I never want to do this again in my life. Literally, I'm the guy who churns, or I am the person, as was explained by Yusuf, the guy who just walks away from the service completely if you're asking me to do all of this work just to pay. And that is kind of the first step of the experience. Here are some examples, again, just to get you familiar with what we're talking about. الحوالات are digital, or considered digital, لكن they are frictional. Even though, yes, you add the beneficiary once, even though now some of the limits for the small amounts have been just by phone number, you still have to do the phone call, and then you have to send the receipt, and so on. Sadad, I'm not sure why it still exists, to be honest. It's great for a lot of things, but for schools, and I think we're the only country that has something similar to this right now, especially when we have Apple Pay, open banking, and so on. Cash, of course, yeah, it's limited. There's a lot of things. And then Buy Now Pay Later, which is an amazing service. And it works extremely well for e-commerce in small ticket sizes and has created its own market. But there's so much friction in school payments and business payments and other things that we see Buy Now Pay Later for this, and Buy Now Pay Later for rent, and Buy Now Pay Later for education, and so on, where it's not necessarily sustainable. For a service-based business, there's not that much credit risk usually. Schools are a bit different, but in general, if the person doesn't pay, I don't give them the service as a SaaS business. So why would I, in general, first of all, ask for the payment up front? So here is what is happening in the market. You go to a school or any software service, even some for the fintechs, if you use Focal and other services like Uniphonic. These are SaaS businesses. the global economy is now usage-based. In Saudi, they still pay upfront for a 3-year contract or a 2-year contract. The rationale is, oh, we don't want to go into collecting it on a monthly basis. And so we want to solve the problem from the root by digitizing it completely. So we want to remove friction from the entire experience for a merchant to be able to accept payments. That means also removing friction from the person that's paying. But we are just more focused on the business side. How do we do it? There are a couple of friction points today. Okay, Ibrahim, there's payment gateways, Muyassir, etc., which are all amazing companies. We partner with a lot of them. The thing is for merchants, especially if you're talking about a merchant that wants to go live immediately and or someone who's not tech savvy. Think of our first client bases, which were nurseries and small business owners or freelancers. There's a lot of friction to KYB and to kind of onboard, and it takes time, and there's no plug and play, the APIs don't exist. And so what we do is we do a very easy onboarding process, number one. Number two, we provide everything that you need in one place. So all the things that you would have to build on top of the gateway, we already have. Things like, obviously, the payments and payment links that you can send. Subscriptions, so if you wanted to create a recurring payment, you literally click a couple of buttons on our platform, the link gets sent, which I will show you the journey, to the user, and then the experience is kind of seamless after that. We also do the reminders, so in case the payment has failed, as a fallback mechanism, or in the sense of if there's a reminder to make a payment happen in the next month or two. And then we also do the invoicing. So if you need us to do it for you and link with Zatka, we do that. And if you need us to just integrate with your accounting software, we also do that. We deliver it, obviously, through multiple different ways. I think there's a couple of slides later on to show. But the idea is this is what is known as billing. So one-stop shop to get paid, essentially. This is what I meant by you can basically deliver it. If you have a website and you want to just integrate subscriptions, and I'll show you an example of a case study later on. Why is it that some sell-less stores still ask you to come in and pay for a year for a subscription of some sort, or they ask you to go back onto the website and pay? They need to embed integration of subscriptions onto their website. And the reason why they don't do it is because there's a lot of tooling that they need to build around it. So we're providing those APIs, similar to Stripe, if you guys are familiar. And then obviously, we have a platform which is very easy to use, quite frictionless, and you can make it as sophisticated as you want as an individual. They obviously, once they start digitizing, there are just some statistics. First of all, is the integration is shipment. So we say we onboard you within 2 days. Hopefully, we'll be as fast as Awad and Manafa and the guys when it comes to 1 day or less, even in hours. But right now, that's the case. Then we integrate quickly with any of their stack that they need. They get financial clarity on their solution. And then the most important part is, again, a statistic I think I told, so I don't remember the number, but I think Amazon did some A/B tests on their website by just changing the color of the checkout button. And what happened was they saved $150 million or something like that, just because they saved 1 or 2 seconds. So checkout right now is extremely important. That's why it's 5 times faster. If you tell someone, Isma, this month's Habana fee is now due, and then you go and then you transfer, then you send. That whole process, let me do it when I get home, then you have coffee, then that's a couple of hours. Whereas Stream, you're going to see now, you get it on WhatsApp. You just come in, pay with Apple Pay. Once you pay, you get the invoice right away, so you can give it to SIDF if you want to get to recoup it. You don't have to talk to any financial person from the other side. And then obviously, because what we're doing is we're making it easier for the merchant to get paid and provide these solutions, they get new customer growth. So they can now provide flexible payment methods. So the way Stream charges customers is pay as you go. Why? Because our whole billing is digital. So when we do that, we provide flexibility. And when you have flexibility, as we know from Buy Now, Pay Later and other things, you get new customers. Here's, I think, what a lot of you are waiting for. You get a message, basically, on WhatsApp, where you are. You don't need to download any apps. We're trying to remove all the friction. No KYB, no anything. You just get this message. You go in to the payment page. Obviously, we have the refund policy for the merchant. You can do in installments. The installments are on behalf of the customer, so they take the credit risk if they want to do it. They can turn it off and do a subscription. It's very fast. You pay with Apple Pay, of course, any card, Visa, etc. And then once you've paid, you get the message on WhatsApp for your invoice, exactly like if you went to Al-Habib or something. And so I think what's cool about it is, like I said, a freelancer now looks extremely professional. Or a nursery has digitized her whole billing process, which actually used to take 25, 30 hours and more. And then when it comes to the schools, يعني ملموس يمكن المشكلة لأن a lot of the merchants, when you speak to them, they say parents don't pay. So I have to be the defender of the parents and say, okay, wait, what is your payment experience? Oh yeah, we have everything, Visa, cash, everything. Okay, طيب, how does it work? You have to come in and you pay, and or you get a message that you have to go to hawala to the school, and then you have to call the muhasib. Did it come? He has to go reconcile, so you wait a week. All of this friction is the reason why people might not necessarily pay. And that's what we're trying to kind of remove and solve. So this is the kind of the journey again. Parents or people in general, so we work with SaaS, we work with real estate, we work with education, we work with a lot of different sectors, charities even. They love it because it's just easy. It's extremely frictionless. You get a message. The first time it's weird, but obviously we do campaigns and make sure you see it. It's secure. You see it, you get to pay. Second of all, the merchant that never used to provide flexibility now provides flexibility because they're like, or the schools, and we say, why don't you provide installments? They're like, we do, but only to a set few. Why? We have thousands of people. We can't just manage all of their installments. Okay, we'll set the rules for you, and then you can do it yourself. And then obviously they have control and visibility. So if you saw in the last thing, you have your user profile. Ideally, we can partner. Like it's great to see. I think Barg was talking just now about like subscription management. The more of these apps that are there, where you can easily see all of your subscription, the better. We do something similar, just to be able to see anything that you've paid stream for. But the idea is you want to cancel anytime you can. I'll end with a couple of use cases, just to kind of give you, to bring it home. So one of them is the API, and one of them is, I'll start with this one first. This is our first client. This is why I chose it. I could have gone with some of the bigger ones we're talking to, and we started with Riyadh schools and so on. This is our very first client. She was a one-person passion project, female founder, her first-time founder. She built this after a passion, having studied in Australia, to do, she wanted to do a nursery in Saudi. And she used to spend 25 hours a week, تقريبا. She said every single day I would go back home, manage all of the invoices. And then she has a big book that she used to store all the invoices. Why did she have the book? Because the ministry used to come in and tell her what happened to Faturat Khalid, or what happened to this receipt. So she would make sure like she's compliant. We digitized the entire thing through the portal for her, and now all of her parents pay like this through WhatsApp. So the parents were extremely happy with her. And then obviously she's extremely happy because she now does nothing. Everything is just automated. It's as if it's like magic. We're working with the nursery here as well, Sky, as well. So some of you might have received some links. I think they're using the API actually. But this is the idea. You want to go out and provide subscriptions, easy payments, very, very easily and very, very quickly. Stream is the place to go to. And the reason is we've removed all the friction that usually is there when you want to set up payments and get paid and the invoicing and so on. The other one is a more bigger client, the AI Association. It is an association in Saudi Arabia that aims to empower and educate the market when it comes to artificial intelligence. They spent, I think, a month. That's what the conversation that came to me. I think there were some employees of Sadaya and so on that they were trying to figure out how to put subscriptions embedded into their website. And I was confused, actually, as to why it was taking so long. I knew, obviously, the issue, but you have a tech team, and then there's all these issues. We basically got them live in 2 days. They heard about us. Someone told them there's the Stripe kind of version of Saudi, and they reached out. And literally in 2 days before a national holiday, they went live. And essentially, a user can come in, subscribe for a year, and it's embedded into the website. So these are the two experiences you might see. So sometimes you might see stream through a message, WhatsApp message, sometimes you won't. But the idea is we want a future that is completely frictionless. خلاص, I don't want to talk to any financial person about any bills that I need to pay. And we know for a fact, يعني إن شاء الله طبعا لما نتكلم عن المستقبل with AI and everything that's happening, the simple question that we asked ourselves before we started this business is, do we feel that there is a future in this country and in the world where someone asks you to make a transfer for something that is maybe too much for you to handle, and ask you to send him a receipt or her a receipt and so on? And the answer was easily for us, no. Payments will become invisible, inshallah. Your wage will, they will be automated as well. So your wage will come in, the pieces of it will go and be spent on school, tuition, and so on. And I think, inshallah, mustaqbal market as well will be easier for people. People today face a lot of issues paying these bulk payments up front, and then financing is coming into the mix. Okay, which was great for certain things, but not everything should be financed. It should be service-based. When you live in the UK or the US, things, sometimes you spend them weekly because that's how your income comes in. So the idea is to get to that market, to get to that level of trust where people can bill us pay as you go, or bill us pay as your usage, or bill us even on a weekly basis. We need to automate, digitize everything, and that's what inshallah we're doing. And then you guys, some of you might have heard the news. We just closed a round, alhamdulillah, $4 million. Outliers, Build Ventures. We also have some notable investors here that we're very lucky to have. Thank you very much. Alhamdulillah, يعني نحمد الله ونشكره. That's our story. Obviously, anyone can reach out, and we'd love to talk to different people. Again, thank you, SIDF, so much for having me. Glad to be back, and happy to take any questions.
Yes, thank you, Ibrahim. Okay.
Hello, Ibrahim.
Hello,
Very
Allah.
insightful presentation of a Stream app. For the app, I mean, I appreciate that it's useful, flexible, and quick. But digital, it is a double-edged sword. So how can we avoid scammers and frauders from entering our fintech database? Because as you showed, the text come as a WhatsApp. And frauders and scammers use WhatsApp as a database so they can scam you. So how can we avoid it, or how can we know that this message is legit, it's the true one?
Absolutely, that is a great question. And this is a question we asked all the time. The first thing was, so in general, when you're paying, there's a lot of marketing around now. Be careful what you're paying for. Make sure that this is coming from the right source, etc. So when it comes to the user experience itself, obviously, we do a campaign with the school or the entity if Stream is going to be the label, because sometimes it goes out from the, let's say a jarir, for example, or a sweater or something like that. It comes out from their actually their own WhatsApp. They're just using our own billing. And so once you do that campaign, so everyone's educated that you're going to get this message from a company called Stream or from our WhatsApp. Obviously, the verification on the WhatsApp and things like this. And then we also have OTPs in very small areas where information is dangerous to kind of be shared in the checkout flow. When it comes to the fraud question, it's still an unsolved question globally because there are multiple different ways people can do fraud, and we can't control it, even if they were just sending it from their own application or website. But when it comes to our job, we need to make sure that the customers know what they're paying for, who they're paying, and then the merchant side, it needs to be very secure. They need to have controls around abusing the customers as well, because we have automatic reminders, we have APIs, webhooks. They could also just start targeting and attacking customers with reminders and stuff like that. So that's the kind of protection mechanisms that we put in place. But fraud is something that, inshallah, in general, the payment industry will hopefully solve much faster in the coming years with AI. Great question.
يعطيك العافية وما قصرت. If you go back to my Twitter for over 6 years, every year I was mentioning Stripe to open in Saudi. So my question is, why did it took so long for something like Stream to open in Saudi?
Great question.
Because this is exceptionally powerful for freelancers.
Yes.
Forever they still depend on bank transfers.
100%.
They send a PDF and they wait for a bank transfer, and it boggles my mind. How come we don't have a Stripe equivalent in Saudi? So why did it take forever for something like Stream to open in Saudi?
I think it's a great question. I appreciated the feeling that you have, or the previous frustration, because I feel it myself. So just quick background, I used to work in VC for a couple of years at STV. And one of the things that I was doing was looking at a lot of Fintech companies. Alhamdulillah, I got to meet the Manafa guys. And Awad as well. But one of the things I used to ask was, there's like open banking, advancements, and so on. Why is there not these checkout APIs? Why doesn't it work? I think it's just one of the answers. I don't have a full answer, but the frustration led us to building it, Salaha. And what we found, there are some things that we didn't know until merchants kept asking for it. We're like, oh, this doesn't exist? Okay, we can actually build it. So the answer, I think, is a mix. One is Stripe doesn't care about the region. So they didn't come in. They have like 2 or 3 employees in Dubai for years, even though they had a lot of demand. So the typical, until the demand kind of shows up, which is how we saw Klarna not come in, and Shopify and so on. So you have local champions. The other part is there's also like local integrations that needs to be done. Now, when it comes to the payment gateways, that's a question. Why haven't the payment gateways did this or pursued it? Again, I think it's a mix of the available funding, when these companies were established. Most of the payment gateways were established almost a decade ago, almost all of them, the local ones. And so they're busy with different types of GMV targets and maybe expansion across the region and competition or competitive dynamics between each other. So I think يعني, it's a mix of different things. I still don't know why it didn't exist, especially even after these launches. The level of demand we are not able to actually يعني handle right now. So we're hiring if anyone's interested. No, I'm just joking. وخليل بيقتلني. بس اللي أنا قاعد أقوله إنه I think the real situation is that there needed to be someone who was willing to raise money and focus only on this. The biggest question I get from investors and a lot of people, a lot of the time before we got some believers was, why doesn't this payment gateway do it? What happens if Stripe enters, etc. So I think that logic made a lot of people just avoid the problem. Yeah, I think that's kind of I would say my answer, but it still boggles me today. And I still get questions as well. And is it useful? And as you know, it is very useful. So Allah يكتب في الخير إن شاء الله.
أول شيء كنت أبغى أبارك لك.
الله يبارك فيك.
أنا شخصيا من دفعة نخب حاليا. it's very inspiring إني أشوف واحد من دفعة نخب وين وصل وش قاعد يسوي. فألف مبروك. وفي أكثر من واحد من هنا برضو من دفعة نخب جايين يشوفونك.
ألف مبروك لكم.
الله يسعدك الله يسعدك. ثاني شيء بس كنت أبي أكمل على سؤال زميلتي. أنا كان عندي نفس السؤال وجاني سؤال في سيناريو عكسي، إنه الحين عندك رسائل ترسل بالواتس. كثير من اليوزرز تراديشنال يوزرز، ناس كبارين في السن ما إلى ذلك، كيف تخليهم يدخلون الروابط هذه؟ كيف تخليهم accepting إنهم أدخل رابط جايني بالواتس يبغاني أدفع فلوس؟
Great question. So إلى الآن actually sometimes people don't. So what we do, the thing with Stream is we're a billing layer. So we actually charge customers even if someone did a bank transfer or a cash, or in some schools there's things like Qurra and other payment methods. So regardless, there is always going to be, from our statistics, 25% of users that are not comfortable with paying online and or potentially want to pay through Sadad or bank transfer, which I don't know why, but they can. The point is, removing friction doesn't necessarily mean forcing people to do payments on card. Removing friction is to say, pay however you want. That's how we solve it right now, as well as the marketing side. So we're not a B2C company, but we have done a lot more work trying to get the brand out there in case, like the Tufahs of the world that need us to do the message. People still know, Stream is a reliable kind of source. But the answer is that they don't have to. They can pay however they want.
يعطيك الف عافية إبراهيم. ريهام العدوان. From what I have seen يعني في البداية, I imagine that you're removing friction from the side of the customer. So you spoke about eliminating this friction of recurring payments. And I think about recurring payments from the perspective of the customer themselves, not the business, because the business won't يعني it's just يعني أقساط. I imagined me as a parent, for example, I would not have the hassle of having to pay the school every single month. It would just be automatically charged, as you have explained with Netflix and other subscriptions. So it feels like now the automation is from the business side. You mentioned going to the other side. Do you have the foresight or plans to target the customer side of things of automation?
Yeah, no, great question. I think I didn't do a good job of explaining maybe the customer side. So the payments are automated for subscriptions. So you would get a link and then it would be pulled automatically. But what we did for the Saudi market, which is a little bit different, is we have a toggle as well, where the user can decide whether they want it to be automated or they want it to be paid. When you think of sectors like schools, the ticket size is quite big. People don't want it to be pulled 1000 riyal, 5000 riyal, 4000 riyal. We got a lot of complaints about it being pulled kind of automatically. So we put the toggle, they can decide. Some people like to see the message, then they pay themselves with Apple Pay. It still feels frictionless for them, but the auto and the tokenization side of things, and inshallah the auto bank transfers is all there.
Okay, so you receive the WhatsApp message, exactly. The first one, and then you can choose whether to have it automated or not.
Exactly.
So if you don't want to have it again, you can just automate it and you'll never get the same message again.
Exactly. It gets pulled, but all you'll get is an invoice sent to you once it's been paid.
Nice.
So you'll get a message as well before with full transparency saying we will pull the money or deduct the amount in 3 days or in 5 days. Then the money gets pulled, then you get the invoice once it's been pulled. And then you have a user profile similar to what you guys saw today, where you can go on the user profile, see the card that is linked to the subscription, link another card if you want, and then also obviously cancel the subscription or freeze it.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. Another question is, what made you go through the route of WhatsApp messaging? Because, you know, for a long time, everyone had this craze of creating an app, and your business is not viable unless you have this app, and you have to build a whole software around it. So I'm wondering what made you cut through that and just go through WhatsApp?
I think it was just frustration. أنا يعني خلاص, I was so done with. يعني I remember I had a fight with some guy who wanted me. He was like, حول لي لو سمحت. قلت طيب تمام. وكل شوي يذكر حول. بعدين 5 days later as a business اوكي تدخل تحول. بعدين اوكي طيب. بعدين جاء كلمني قال لي والاس ام اس ما ابغى اشوف اس ام اس في حياتي. يعني كلها just. بعدين the guy said to me ارسل لي الايصال. And I was like, dude, يعني I'm not working to pay on your behalf or for your customers. How much friction are you creating for everyone? So that was clearly not an approach. The bank transfer side of things, where you have to even go into an app or open something. Then it became with the downloading of things. The demand and the forcing of customers to download so many things today is starting to get annoying. Web app was a great thing. We evolved into applications, and now I think we're going back to web apps in some experiences. This is why I think ChatGPT and other things, it's like one user interfaces is better than all. And it was clearly it seemed like commerce was going to happen in chat in a way. So we said, why not expedite it? And everyone's already used to WhatsApp.
Amazing.
So that was the kind of the idea behind it. Obviously, there's the security stuff. Obviously, there's the restrictions around WhatsApp. We do have fallback mechanisms that come through SMS. The user can send through email. Flowmina, if you guys are familiar, the real estate company, they do it through email because their clients are international. So the idea is, whatever you want, you should have the tool to be able to do it.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Ibrahim. I don't have a question. I just want to express my happiness to see you.
He's the best person
to succeed. I remember 5-6 years back when you joined us as a NOCOB, and always you were discussing ideas how to. Even I remember how to give like accounting software to bakala shops. So, mashallah, great to see you, and you will be an idol for all other NOCOBs. You can see.
Shukran.
Thank you, Ibrahim. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Very kind of Riyadh. بالعكس, you're a great mentor along with others in SIDF that played a huge role in my career path, and it was one of the best times. Although it wasn't that long, I loved it, and very fond memories. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Ibrahim.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ibrahim, and thank you to all our speakers today for sharing their insight. From lending and payment to investment and frictionless, today's discussion show how Saudi Fintech is not just participating in change, it is leading it. Together, these companies are shaping financial ecosystem that's smarter, faster, and more inclusive, helping the kingdom move toward Vision 2030 goals for a thriving digital economy. Thank you all for joining us, and enjoy the rest of November. Now, we would like to welcome our VPs, Mr. Khalil Al-Nimri and Mr. Badr Al-Samdan, to honor our guest speakers.